Hi everyone, good morning, welcome guys, welcome to our Friday weekly AMAS Ask Me Any Stock session. This type of GM for good morning. I think some of you have already joined us live, our usual people who is always joining us. Thank you so much for this being early as well. This type of GM for good morning, guys. If you can see and hear me loud and clear, you can see my screen as well right over here. Good morning. Let's see who is joining us here today. We have David. Hi, good morning, David. Hi, Jimmy. Good to see you here as well. Cynthia. Hi, Stephen. All right. Good to see you here as well. John. Hi, Bad Guan. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I think some of you are already typing, all right, in the chat, right? Some of the stocks that you want, like SIA. We'll see if you can cover that later. All right, Andy asking about Food Empire. Yeah, we'll do our best to see if we can cover that. ABC. Hi, Joey Z. So what happens is, guys, today, all right, today is only me and Bervyn. All right, it's only me and Bervyn doing or running the Ask Me Any Stock session because Z is currently on leave. But not to worry, all right, we'll still do our best to make sure you get all the value. So yeah, let me just go to cover, what is going to happen today. So very quickly, we'll do a quick market outlook. All right, we'll cover the S&P 500 index and maybe even the STI, all right, the Straits Times index, because we're talking about the Singapore market today, right? So today is the Singapore market. And for those of you who have been joining us for a while, or maybe you're just scrolling through YouTube and we are live on Facebook as well. All right, if you're like the first time, joining this session, you have no idea who I am. Well, my name is Joey Choy, top tier and middle trader in Phillip Securities. And essentially, right, we are talking about some of the Singapore stocks that you are asking about, right? So if you have any Singapore stocks you want a quick opinion on, type it in the chat. We'll do our best to cover. And at the end of it all, we will share with you, right? Me and Bervyn will share with you 2 Singapore stocks that you want to put in your watch list for potentially more upside, all right? And that would be at the end, right? So if you're joining us today, welcome, all right, to this Ask Me Any Singapore Stocks live session that is happening right now, right? So let me go ahead to get started. And what happens is this, right? Just a quick, sharing of who is here today with me. So we have today Bervyn. So Bervyn has been with me for more than 4 to 5 years now. Also one of the top brokers and traders under me in Phillip Securities, all right, running our group coaching sessions, our one-on-one sessions with our mentees, and assisting our team's portfolio manager as well, with the portfolio as well, right? And Bervyn is also what we call a chartered financial analyst, all right, what we call CFA, whereby, if you're in the banking or finance industry, right, this is one of the highest qualification one can ever get. So Bervyn is very well versed in my one good trend strategy, and he is also what we call very strong in the fundamental aspect as well, right? So Bervyn, maybe just say a few words today.
All right, thanks Joey for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see all those familiar names joining us week after week after week. I know today Z is not here. Me and Joey got some big shoes to fill as well. But not to worry, we will try our best to give you guys the value that you guys expect every week. All right, so back to you, Joey, now.
Okay, very good. So let's get started. So it's very quick, guys. Later when we go through your stocks, if just me and Bervyn, right? Because Z is not here today, so just back and forth, round robin style. All right. I mean, actually just 2 of us lah. So I'll cover one, she'll cover one, and pass it back to me, and we'll try to cover as many as possible. All right. So just a quick disclaimer, guys. Right, the standard disclaimer that we share every time. This entire session is just for education purposes only. All right. So please do your own due diligence, right? Your own homework as well. It's not really to ask you or to force you to buy or sell anything, or maybe not even to buy or not to sell, right? But to really just share a bit of an opinion, all right, based on my one good trend strategy, all right? So if you want to find out a little bit more on the entire strategy and stuff, well, we don't have any webinars right now. We'll probably stop for like 1 or 2 months. But if you want to join us, all right, make sure you're on my email list, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we'll share a little bit more later on perhaps how you could test drive my indicator, my one good trend indicator for free, or test drive it. And that's what we pretty much use to go through the stocks that you guys are asking about and give you a quick opinion, right? So let's get started right now. And let's go to cover maybe like the markets, right? How many of you want me to just do a quick run through of like the markets just to find out exactly what's happening over the past few weeks? Just type M for markets, guys. If you want me to go through like the markets, I think some of you are already typing in the chat the stocks that you guys want, right? And would it be okay, guys, that you help us to like and to share, right? How much like and share? All right, I think there should be a share button at the top. This helps to like and share, guys, so that you can reach out to more people as well. More people can join us in this weekly AMAS session. And of course, we'll try to give you a bit more priority as well if you like and share, all right? Like and share, give us some heart shapes, love. Thank you so much. All right, okay, M for market. So Kasifon, good to see you here as well. I think some of you are joining us every single Friday. Thanks for supporting this entire session as well. That's the reason why we have decided to run it every week, because a lot of people have been asking about it, and you want it like a weekly thing. So very good to see a lot of familiar names, right? Sing as well. Every single Friday you're here. Thank you so much, Sing. Good to see you here. All right, M for markets, Damien, yes, as well. Okay, so let me just go into cover the markets very quickly as well. Good morning as well, Singapore property. All right, okay, very good. So this is the S&P 500 index at about 5,980. All right, so you have been following us over the past few sessions. Well, it's essentially, right, in somewhere around April, right? That's when Donald Trump actually unleashed what we call sweeping reciprocal tariffs, right over here, and the market really sold off, right? I think S&P sold off by 5 or 6% in one day, all right? And it also sold off because there was some, tit for tat war, ongoing tensions between US and China. Both of them were hiking their tariffs up to like 145%, all right, for the US. And even China hiked it up to like 125%. But over the past 1 to 2 months, well, great, there's some good news because they are now in a bit of a negotiation. Right? Initially, they were a little bit more aggressive. They didn't want to negotiate, but right now, they're in a bit of a negotiation. All right, still working out a trade deal, but at least it is much more positive compared to when Donald Trump first unleashed the tariffs. Right, so that's where the market started to rebound as the tensions between the US and China started to ease. All right, and they started to push all the way up as well. And I would say that over the past 1 week, of course, I think those of you who have been following the news, we have this ongoing, escalation, right, in Middle East tensions, right, between Israel and Iran. So, I think just last Friday, Israel has fired, missiles or drones in Iran. All right, kind of like wanting to curb their nuclear program, or to they view it as a threat, right? So they just want to kind of like take down all their nuclear facilities. It's still ongoing. Of course, Iran has retaliated. They're ongoing daily, missiles fired at each other. I think just last evening or what, there was like a missile that kind of like flew into Israel, and a hospital was hit as well, right? So that will be uncertainty in the market, and that's why the market's a little bit shaky. Of course, now Donald Trump has mentioned that he's still considering whether to be involved, all right? Because right now, Israel is still the one, all right, firing and taking offensive shots into Iran, right? US has not yet, all right. Trump has mentioned that he's still in the midst of thinking about it, all right, whether to be involved and all that, right? So that could offer, I would say, lead to a little bit more uncertainty if US were to get involved in this, Middle East kind of like, escalation, right, between Iran and Israel, right? So that's been part of the news that's been affecting the markets a little bit away from the US and China trade tensions, all right, and into this over the past week. All right, so let's take a look at what is happening right now in the S&P 500 index. So you can see, right, for S&P 500 index, what I can do right now is that I could quickly turn on my One Good Trend Pro indicator. So those of you who have been following me for a while, right? I could analyze a pure chart like this, right, with a couple of moving averages. Or what I could do is, within a few seconds, I could also turn on what would be the One Good Trend indicator based on my One Good Trend strategy. So you can see right over here, I can quickly turn on this bullish and bearish signals right over here, 1, 2, 3, pump. And there we go, right? It guides me on not just on the market, but on any single stock, any single asset classes, what to do, right? Whether to get in, to get out, and it helps many of my graduates and my mentees as well. So you can see, right, this is an S&P 500 index. We had a couple of bullish signals. These are all live signals happening as it happens in the market. So you can see October, November 2023, we got the bullish signals all the way up, right? A couple of bearish signals previously, and it starts going down, right? Another bullish signals move up, bullish signals move up. And in fact, somewhere in February, right? February 2025, right? You can see that we actually, this was even before April, right? Before April, when Trump unleashed the tariffs, right? So in February, March, well, actually we had two bearish GT signals, right, happening already, right, being triggered, right? Not one but two. You can see the short-term trend also started to turn down. The green line started to turn down, right? So that's why we mentioned that you want to be careful, right? We could still see weakness. All right, and of course, in April, he unleashed more tariffs. It went even lower, right? And we wanted to be patient to wait for more confirmation of any reversal, right, before getting in. And yeah, in our previous Ask Me Any Stock live session, we talked about this bullish signal that came out, right? Not last week or yesterday. I mean, since like I would say about 2 months back in April, right? 29th of April, we actually got a 1 GT bullish signal. And the market, right, based on this signal has already rebounded by, I would say, about 10%, all right, based on this signal. And we are now at about 5980. So it's rebounded from about 5,004 all the way to like 5980. And it seems like we are seeing a little bit of profit taking over the past 1 week. So I would say that right now for the S&P 500 index, well, very quickly, I would say 6150 or even 6,200. That would be a very critical resistance level for now, right? I think we might see some selling near there. I mean, that's effectively what has happened since like December. Look at this, right? Near it, came back down, came back down, came back down. That was in February. We touched it and came all the way down, right? So now you can see that we are kind of like, nearing the entire same resistance level, around 6150 to maybe even 6002, right? So I think anything near there, some profit taking is expected. You can lock in some profits, take some profits. I think that's fine, all right? And you can see that there are some signs of the green 20 days moving average line, all right, that indicates or give a guidance on the short-term trend, right? It was like pointing up, right? From May, up. And you see now it is starting to move sideways. I mean, it's not really like down, right? So it's a bit sideways still. So it's okay. I mean, it just means a bit of obstacle, at the resistance level. So we could just be consolidating, I would say. Perhaps if I could give a range, right, we could be consolidating right here quite clearly. I think that could be the support, the 5,800 level. All right, 5,800 could be kind of like a very strong near-term support. That was where it was supported all the way from November all the way to February. Look at this, right? Rebounded because we broke down bearish signals, went all the way now, retested it as a resistance level again. All right, and yeah, now it has become what we call the support. So I think the range is 5,008 to 6,002. All right, that is pretty much the range right now. So I think as long as we stay above that 5,008 or maybe even in fact above 5,009, it still looks okay, but just want to be a bit more cautious if the green 20 days moving average line were to start to turn down, all right, and if we do get like what we call a bearish 1 GT signal, something like over here. Look at this, as I mentioned, right, previously in February, before the heavy sell down, right, we got bearish signals, right? So now we haven't got it yet, so it's still okay, we're still a bit safe for now, all right, but if I'm not saying it will happen, right? But if we do get bearish signals coming out, right? And of course, we have set alerts. I mean, let me show you what I can do. So we can set an alert for this, right? So set an alert, one good trend pro based on my indicator, buy or sell alert. So if there are any buy or sell or bullish or bearish signals, create once per bar, create. That's where we will be alerted. We could take some money off the table, especially if a bearish signal comes out. And of course, if we get another confirmation of the green 20 days moving average line, kind of like pointing down as well. All right, so that would be for the S&P 500 index. So far, so good, right? Nothing too concerned about, but I would say the news that's out will be, Middle East tensions between Iran and of course Israel as well. If the US were to get involved and they start, kind of like taking part in unfortunately, kind of like launching missiles into Iran as well, one of their, decades long enemy, all right, that would be that would create what we call more uncertainty in the market. All right, so that's one thing to watch as well. Okay, so this is the S&P 500 index. Let's go to take a look at maybe the STI, since we are talking about the Straits Times the Singapore market today. So this is the Straits Times index. You see, right, longer term trend has been up. So you can see when we look at the trend, we look at it in terms of two fronts, right? The first front would be from the longer term perspective, right? So the red 100 days moving average line and the blue 200 days moving average line, both of them must be up, and the red line preferably above the blue line. So Singapore's Straits Times index has been, I would say, in a very strong longer term uptrend since like beginning of last year. All right, look at this, right? Higher lows, red above the blue, both pointing up, and longer term trend is very strong, right? In fact, I think Singapore market over the past 6 to 7 months since the beginning of 2025 has been doing really well. All right, we are focused on a few good, strong Singapore stocks compared to the US that's been trading lower. A little bit more volatile in the US, right? But Singapore has been very resilient, and in fact, STI has been showing that as well, right? And of course, long term it looks good, but doesn't mean in the short term, for a week or 2 weeks or a month, we cannot go down, right? We can see a sell down, like, when April, Trump introduced tariffs, that the whole global market sort of, because Singapore got affected as well, right? So you can see that along the way, well, we do get a couple of bearish signals, and it starts coming down, right? Another bearish signal that was in 4th of April when Trump unleashed tariffs. Of course, it starts coming down again, right? So every time we get a bearish signal, it's not so good. We're seeing a bit of a short-term weakness, right? And then, all right, we want to wait for what we call a new bullish signal to get back in again, all right? Especially if the short-term trend were to reverse back up. Why? Well, because, as I say, the long-term trend has been strong, right? Look at this, right? Every time, so long-term trend is up, but short-term trend is down, right? So we want to wait for it. Goes down, goes down, goes down. Short-term trend reverses back up. We get a new bullish signal, and you think about getting in, and there we go, pop, all the way up. Same thing over here, right? We got a bullish signal, mid of April, all the way up, right? And the market has indeed rebounded. So STI at about 3,900 level. So I would say right now the market for the STI longer term trend is up, right? In the short term, I mean, it rebounded from April's low, and I would say that we have found a little bit of a resistance again, right? Back to the same old level. And you want to watch this level, I think that level would be the 4,000 psychological level. I mean, since like February, March, right, we have touched it, came back down. Now we are like 3,009. So somewhere in the middle between 4,000 and the higher support level, where I think this support level will be very critical as well, the 3,800 level. All right, so yeah, I think that is the range right now, 3,008 to 4,000, right? So we are like 3,009, which is like in the middle, right? In the middle between 3,800 and 4,000. So I think that is the range for now, right? We're pretty much going sideways in the short term. Longer term trend is still up, but we might just consolidate here. I'm not too sure how long. It could be like 2 weeks, could be 1 month, it could be 2 months. But pretty much that could be the thing, right? Up and down, maybe consolidate and pam, right? If it breaks 4,000, great. That is where I think it could spark up a whole new momentum. The market will turn to be more bullish. All right, targets could then be revised maybe to 4,002 or even 4,003 as well, right? So that is the STI. 4,000 is a key resistance level we want to watch, right? Unfortunately, we could still see a bit of a profit taking below it, but I think it still looks okay because the longer term trend is still up for now. It has been up since for more than a year now. All right, so that is the Straits Times Index. Okay, very good, guys. So those of you who have been joining us, thank you for all the hardships and love and stuff, right? If you found it useful, would appreciate if you can give me some heart shape, hit the emoticon. Thank you so much. If you found it useful. All right. Okay. So welcome, guys. Welcome. I see that a lot of you have joined us. We have more than 200 of you joining us today. Welcome to our Ask Me Any Singapore stock session. So I've just gone through the markets, right? The S&P 500 index and even the STI. So right now, as the name sounds, right, at the top, right, the title, Ask Me Any Singapore stocks live. Yeah, this is live, guys. This is live. It's happening right now. All right. So what you want to do right now, guys, is to go ahead to type in the names of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. All right. Give us a little bit of a context, right? Like if you want like DBS or I don't know, right? Any Singapore stocks, give us a bit of context. Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to get out? Maybe you bought like last month or last year. I don't know, right? Or you have no idea what to do, and just give us a bit of context, like you're looking to buy or sell. What is your intention? What's your intention? So that when we analyze, we are able to give you a better kind of like opinion suited to what you're asking. Does it make sense? Right? So give us a bit of context. I think that's where we give a bit more priority, right? So just type in the chat, guys, any of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. Give us a bit of context, and I will go ahead to go through it very quickly right now. Right? Let me see. So today, guys, would be the Singapore market. So some of you are, Mayani, you're asking about NVIDIA, when can go into buy? Unfortunately, Mayani, today will be Singapore market. So if you've been following us, what happens is that every Friday, right, we will alternate between the US and the Singapore market. So NVIDIA, which is a US stock, that will be next Friday, right? So today is Singapore. Last Friday was US, right? Next Friday is back to US again, right? So unfortunately, Mayani, we'll cover NVIDIA. Next Friday, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the like button as well, subscribe to that, join us next Friday, and we'll try to go through NVIDIA, right? So let me see what is here today, right? Okay, I'll just choose one stock. So very quickly, all right, I'll just go through one stock. I'll pass the mic to Burvin to cover the next Singapore stocks, and we'll just do it rapid fire style, pam, all right? And try to cover at least 15 to 20 stocks today. All right, so let me see what is happening. Any stocks that is good. Okay, Prof. PF, wow, Professor. Hi, good Professor. Good to see you as well. Let's see. I'm holding SIA Engineering. Any advice? I think a few of you are asking about SIA Engineering. Let me just see, right? SIA Engineering. One more people asking about SIA Engineering. Right? Let's see. Oh, Teal Hans. SIA Engineering broke down support at 320. Well, let's find out. So let's just do SIA Engineering. Let's do SIA Engineering since there's a few people asking about SIA Engineering. Let's take a look, right? There we go. SIA Engineering. Okay, wow, pretty good, right? Pretty good. Let's take a look. Let me just remove all the drawings, and this is SIA Engineering right now. Okay, so you can see for SIA Engineering, we have seen a pretty good reversal. All right, I think all of you know about, this, like in Singapore, there's a Terminal 5 that will be launching soon. I think that's where it could, it was a catalyst for SIA Engineering. We saw a very good rebound because after the April sell down, we got this bearish signal, right? So when we get a bearish signal, right, you just want to be careful, right? You don't want to rush. And you can see it started to go down from like 240 all the way to $2. In fact, below $2, right? And you want to wait for that reversal to happen, all right? And what happens was that for SIA Engineering, well, it came, right? We got a new bullish signal on the 17th of April, right? 17th of April. But at point in time, you see that the green 20 days moving average line was slightly still pointing down. We just wanted to flatten out or maybe started to point up. And that is where the confirmation came. And we have started to see a very strong rally, right? In fact, another bullish signal have came out as well. Another one GT bullish signal have came out as well. And it started to push up even faster, right? So Prof PF, I'm holding SIA Engineering. Any advice here? So I'm not too sure whether you're holding on to me as you have bought it previously, right? So not too sure whether you bought it last week or last month or last month. If you have got in over here or here at 220 or 240, great. Now it's 370. You're confirmed making money. All right. So what you want to do is to take step 2, protect your profit. So what is my view on SIA Engineering? Well, I think I'm still bullish on it. Well, because you can see that we have 2 bullish signals. All right. The green 20 days moving average line that represents the short-term trend is still pointing up. It's not pointing down, right? It's still pointing up. So I think the short-term trend is still up. And based on this indicator that I have, as I say, right over here, right, I can quickly turn on what we call the trailing support and resistance. Let me just turn it on very quickly. There we go. And now I have a trailing support and resistance. So just a very quick, sharing of what is this trailing support. So you can see, right? When we have a bearish signal coming out, we got a trailing resistance there, kind of like, follow SIA Engineering as it headed down, all right? As the name sounds, trailing, right? When the first bullish signal came out, well, it flipped, all right? This time we had a trailing support level that pops out, and now as SIA Engineering were to rise from $2 all the way to $3.17 now, the trailing support actually followed up, right? You can see that it flat up, and it follows it as it moves even higher. So that's one thing good about the trailing support. It's one of the very powerful features that we have as part of my one good trend indicator, whereby it gives the stock the space, the breathing space to breathe while allowing it to hopefully move up more. All right. So, it follows it, but don't follow too closely, right? Give it some space, right? Because, it might just, be a bit more volatile as well. So you want to account for volatility and give it space. And as long as you're above it, I think it's pretty good. And you can see, right, since like 17 April from $2 and I would say 20 cents all the way to like 3.20, we are already looking at a gain of 52.9% gain in just about 2 over months, right? Pretty good, right? And I think it still looks pretty okay. Why? Because are we still above the trailing support level? Well, I think, we are still above this green trailing support, which will be around that $2.95 or even $3. So I think anything above that $3 level, you can see that is still pretty okay. That would be like a horizontal support. A little bit of space lower, that would be the trailing support, about $2.95. So still okay. I think, of course, if you can hold above the 320, we have started to push up, right? Attempted to break 320 and push higher, but then the market started to weaken a little bit, a bit of profit taking, so we are like pulling back a little bit. But so far, I think the short-term trend is still up. We're holding above the trailing support, so still pretty good to go. Of course, if we go below $3 or $2.95, then we would have a bearish signal. that's where you want to take steps to protect your profits, all right? And maybe to get out, all right? I mean, especially if you have got in way earlier, lower, I think it's good to make sure you protect your profits. Don't let it go all the way back down and then you're like back to square one, right? Don't do that, right? Take steps to protect your profits, especially if it goes below $3 or maybe below the $2.95. But right now, I think it still looks okay. A bit of profit taking maybe near $3 and let's say a bit of resistance about $3.30. I think that is where some selling is actually happening. All right, so that's the first stock, SIA Engineering. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock. Bervyn, all yours.
Thanks, Joey. All right. Okay, let me just throw up my screen right here. All right, so I think just now Nelson asked, okay, intend to get some REITs, not sure which to get for dividends. And then Bagwan was asking, okay, how about Keppel DC REIT? Is it a good time to buy? I think Jerry was also asking about Keppel DC REIT, so I thought I would just cover Keppel DC REIT. All right, so okay, just a little bit of information on the REITs. If you guys are looking to get some REITs, what you are most likely looking for is some dividend income, correct? You are not looking to take the dividend and then have the share price coming down and down and down, then they take the dividend. It's also no use lah. Yeah, what you want to do is look for a stable price, a stable uptrend, or at least a sideways movement for a REIT or a dividend stock in order to get into secure your capital and then go for that stable dividend yield. And I think Keppel DC REIT is one of those that many people are looking at in that aspect as well. What we have right here is also good signs that the trend is also intact with two 1GT bullish signals that actually have came out in the last few months, in the last 2 months, and prices have been rather stable, just within a range of 190 to about $2.30. All right, so 190 to $2.30 prices have been there for over a year already, so pretty stable, and then they have been stably giving out dividends as well. So these are all good signs of a good dividend stock so far. But we are now, I think, currently, all right, Jerry, we are currently on the higher end of this range with prices trading very close to that $2.30 resistance level right here. All right, so this is where we can actually see sellers have also previously came back in, came close once, came back down, another time came close, came back down, did not manage to rise as high as that again, and then now finally we are back here. Are we going to be able to break above 230 to form a new support, hold above that new level? I think it's still a little bit too early to say. Nobody can tell you whether it will break today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Not too sure, but at least we are able to see that 20 days moving average, the nearer term trend, at least it's pointing up. The longer term trend isn't pointing up as much as that shorter term trend, but it is at least still pointing up gradually, although that 100 days moving average just slightly below that 200 days moving average. I will place the immediate support around that 220 level as well. So if you are looking to get in, potentially this 220 level could be a chance for you to accumulate, especially for those accumulating on the longer term. The other way would be to actually just wait it out a bit to see if prices are finally able to break above that 230 level, so forming a new support, so a little bit more aggressive, more of a breakout purchase as well, so as to say that prices are in a new phase. All right, so to just turn on like what Joey said, that trailing support and resistance, there could be some people, all right, there will be some people that already accumulated some Keppel DC REITs, way back when, sometime in September last year, or maybe even that dip during in April as well. Right, so you're probably sitting on some profits and you're not intending to hold on to this REIT for a longer term. Then I think that trailing support, like Joey have mentioned, which takes into account the volatility of the counter, right, gives it a good breathing space. Right? It's right now about that 218 to 220 level. That is where you want to have some alerts being set up or some stop limit orders being set up. Just let yourself know that prices are heading back towards that trailing support. And if it's broken again, we may see that 1GT bearish signal, this red arrows come back in. So then you may expect a little bit of a nearer term weakness, right? But I think as of right now, it is still in a good position. Maybe just set up an alert right here, right click, set up an alert. Maybe if prices arrive at the 2.21 level, you want to be alerted and then come in, monitor the trend a little bit to see if the longer term trend is still holding up, and then that could be a window of opportunity for you to get in as well. So that is for Keppel DC REIT so far, still looking good, not too bad. All right, back to you, Joey.
All right, okay, very good. So let's go ahead to look at the next stock and let me see, right? I think some of you are asking about, okay, going to share my screen. And I have with me CNMC, right? I think Chester bought CNMC at about 0.43. Can it hold? Are there any one GT on your charts, right? Let's go to find out and let's take a look at CNMC GoldMine. So CNMC GoldMine, as the name sounds, it's a gold mining stock. All right, they have seen pretty good move as well. Why? Because gold prices has been pushing up higher due to uncertainty in the market. Right, gold is seen as what we call a safe haven currency. So when the market sold off, especially in April, we saw gold prices hitting to a new high. All right, and let's take a look at some of the gold mining stocks in Singapore, and that would be CNMC. Right over here. So you can see that for CNMC GoldMine, well, I would say that the longer term trend has been up. Look at the red and the blue line, right? I mean, the red is going up, the blue is going up since like last year, right? For more than a year, the red and blue has been moving up. Of course, in the short term, we can see some weakness here and there, right? Bearish signals comes down. But overall, every time you get a new bullish signal, like over here in January, beginning of this year, right? It was around that 0.25. We got a bullish signal, it starts going all the way up to 32 cents, right? Pretty good. Bearish signal starts coming down. And let's see what has happened over the past few months. Well, I think in April, everything sold off. We got a bearish signal, but 3 days later, a new bullish signal appeared, right? And that's where it led the reversal all the way up from like 35 cents all the way to 43 cents right now, right? So, okay, I mean, not a lot, still okay, but in fact, it has gone up a little bit. And of course, the green 20 days moving average line that was like, pointing up, when it saw that push up, started to see a little bit of a sideways movement for now. So I think right now the green line is starting to maybe flatten out a little bit. It just shows that we are seeing some resistance level. So I think, Chester, back to your question, right? You bought CMSC about 0.43, which is pretty much the price right now. This is about the same, all right? Can it hold? Are there any bullish signals? Yeah, so we actually had a bullish signal, right? So, I mean, if you've gone in like 35 cents when it came out, then that'll be better, right? But that doesn't matter. I mean, right now, even though you got in at 0.43, which is like the price right now, I think it's still okay because are there any bearish signals out yet? No, there's no bearish signal. I mean, I don't know when it'll come out, but so far as of today, there is no bearish signal. Still looks pretty okay. Support-wise, I would say maybe we have found a little bit of support around that 39 to 40 cents, whereby we have been rebounding from it over the past 2 months, rebound, and all the way to a very clear resistance at about that 0.47. So that is kind of like the range right now. I think like 40 cents to 47 up and down. If I can quickly turn on the trailing support and resistance, you can see that, well, the trailing support is slightly higher, right? Slightly higher. Just maybe around at 40 cents, right? I mean, around the same, like around 40 cents. So yeah, as I say, range is 40 cents to 47 for now, right? If we hold above that 40 cents, so you can see this trailing support has been following up, flat, up, flat, up, flat. Why? Because it follows it, but it gives it space to breathe as well, all right? We don't want to follow too closely because, might just go down and come back up, right? So you give it space to breathe, and you can see there are still some space between the price and 40 cents. So I think as long as we stay above that 40 cents, still pretty okay, right? So I think, what you could do is to set some alerts. Like, for example, we have set some alerts at like, 48, 485, 49. If it does break this very key level, I think that's where we would even have a new bullish signal. I think that's where you could write your entry. Even more targets could be revised all the way to 50 cents or maybe even to 55 cents. All right, so that would be this, CNMC GoldMine. All right, Bervyn, back to you.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so I think there's one. Let's see. I'm just going down a list. All right, Damien, good morning. Welcome back. YTU Financial Holding can share if we are looking at it going higher than its current price and its prospects. I think YTU Finance also, I think, I cannot remember, it's about a month ago, they were talking about spinning off their maritime investment business. But looks like market isn't really taking on the news as much. It ran up a little bit, all right? It ran up a little bit close to that 0.76 resistance where it previously tested. I think sellers also then came in to take a little bit of profit, pushing it back down to that 70 cents level once again. And today we are trading very close to that 70 cents level, perhaps even testing it already. Let's see if a little bit of our buyers are able to come in. We still have that 1GT bullish signal, right? The 1GT bullish signal still present at this point. That 20 days moving average, you see, I think about for the past week or so, it has been gradually sloping down, not as much as going up anymore. It starts to slope down, but it looks like it's flattening out a little bit at this point, right, Damien? So I think if you are looking, if you are currently holding, because I'm not too sure if you are currently holding or you are actually looking to buy some of this Yang Financial, maybe you can let me know in the chat if you're looking to buy or you're looking to sell and take profits with alongside the rest of the holders as well. But as of right now, if you are looking to buy, we are very close to that support level. All right, but we have a little bit of a mixed signal because that 20 days moving average is still down. It isn't flatten out just yet. So if you are looking to accumulate, you have to, or you could try to wait for that 20 days moving average to flatten out a little bit. All right, so you bought already at 1705. So if you bought already at 705, then I guess you are actually looking to protect your downside. Right, at least looking to protect your downside. Let's not worry too much about the upside first, because if you don't protect your downside, you don't even have to talk about the upside lah. Okay, so right now I have just turned on that trailing support. The trailing support is around that 0.68, 0.67 level. So this is a level to actually watch. Right, this is a level to actually watch. Why? It's because just now I've mentioned, if this trailing support is actually broken, you may see a sudden sell down or a sudden influx of sellers at the same time, which could push prices towards the next support level, at 60 cents. But I think in the longer term sense, if we look at that 100 days and 200 days moving average, it had sloped up. Right, it's still sloping up, at least at this point. So the longer term trend is still intact. The longer term uptrend is still right there, is still good at this point. So unless we see a little bit more sellers coming back in to push prices down to that 60 cents level, should expect to see that longer term trend still intact at this point. So I think the upside, I guess you are looking towards that 760 to 765 level first, and if that level gives way, right, you may want to shift your targets up. That trailing support would also then start to move higher and higher and higher, like what had happened previously as well, right here, where the prices were moving up, that trailing support was moving up alongside it as well. So I think if that 76 cents level is broken, another 1 GT bullish signal, all right, could also appear right there, and then the upside could be towards that 82 cents in the more immediate term. So I think Damon just set up a couple of alerts. One, it would be if prices break below that 67.5 cents level. The other would be if prices are able to break above that 76 cents level. So I hope that 76 cents alert is being triggered. So I mean, then means you are definitely will be sitting on profits again. Then maybe can join us again, and maybe we can see where we could be heading towards next. All right, so that is for Yang Financial Holding. Back to you, Joey.
All right, very good. Let's move on to the next one, and I want to talk about this stock called Siong, right? Siong. So I think a lot of you might also do your groceries over there. That's what I do as well. All right, and this is Siong. Who is asking about it? We have Johnson, all right. Siong just triggered 1 GT bullish signal recently. So I believe you probably have access to my 1 GT indicator, Johnson. Awesome. So let's go to take a look at it right now. All right. So I think your question is, what stop limit prices should I place for the buy order? All right. So very good. Let's go to analyze it and see what could be a good entry to maybe think about getting in, for Siong. So you can see for Siong, right, guys? We actually had a couple of bullish signals. I'll not go too far, but we see somewhere around like August last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, it was around that $1.45. All right, push all the way up to 160. A bearish signal that was in April, right, when Trump unleashed tariffs, everything sold off, right? So even Siong got a bearish signal, right? But a week later, well, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal, and the green line, right? This green line, the 20 days moving average, whereby it was actually flat for 4 or 5 months. I mean, a bit boring. And look at this, right? It was like flat. It just means that it's a sideways consolidation in the short term. So when do we think about getting in? Well, when we see the short-term trend turn from like down to up or from flat to up. Does it make sense? I mean, we want it to go up, right? So we want the green line to point up eventually, right? And yeah, it did, right? It did, right? Somewhere around like April, after getting the bullish 1 GT signal, it's another confirmation we started to push up, all right? So it has been about like 16%, 16% in about 1 month plus, right? Still okay. But let's take a look at what has happened. So I think Jossing, very good, right? You mentioned that Siong just triggered the 1 GT signal, the bullish signal, not one, but actually two, right? One pump, right? Two bullish signals. So we have 1, 2, and 3 bullish signals. I think you guys want to put this stock in your watch list right now, all right? I think it looks pretty good. In fact, this stock we have actually shared with our clients in Philips Securities as well by WhatsApp over the past 1 to 2 months as well. So those of you who are actually clients of mine in Philips Securities, you probably will receive a WhatsApp on Sheng with like a chart and all that, right? Maybe let me know, guys, how many of you are actually clients of mine in Philips Securities? This type of C for client. If you're actually a client of mine in Philips Securities, let me know how many clients we have over here. Let me just acknowledge and thank all of you for your support as well. Let me know this type C for client. All right, if you're a client of mine, you have a trading account under me in Philips Securities, you probably would be receiving our daily ideas by WhatsApp, right? So let me know if you're a client over here, this type of C for client, so that, okay, very good. A lot of C, Pauline, Cynthia are here as well. Great. Thank you so much for the support as well. Ivan, Belen, Jimmy, Vincent, Florence. So a lot of clients over here, guys. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. But for those of you who are not yet a client of mine, all right, not yet a client of mine in Philips Securities, and you want to get some of those ideas by WhatsApp, the live, daily, as I mean, for free, right? Like Steven, like Mayani, like Patrick, like Pauline, like Cynthia, right? Paulvesh. The link is right in chat. Click on it, check it out, find out how you can get some of those ideas free live by WhatsApp like Siong, so that you don't miss out on stocks like this. All right. So I mean, especially if you're trading and you don't get any support from your own broker. All right. It's just like a hotline, or you just log into your trading account, mobile app, whatever. Nobody bother about you. The link is right there. All right. Click on it, check it out. So at least you get some personalized service, some of our top ideas, private trainings for free at no additional cost. Right? It's pretty much the same as whatever you pay when you're trading. All right, Ken? Okay, so let's talk about Siong. So yeah, we have sent out a note to our VIP clients in Philips Securities. And of course, from my 1 GT, the one good trend indicator that I have, we have a couple of bullish signals. So I think right now, Josing, if I can help you out, I would say that the $1.90, right, would be a very, very critical resistance level. You can see that I've actually placed some alerts here, 191, 192, all right? Maybe let's just do 193 as well, 194 as well. If we were to breach the $1.90 level, I'm not too sure when, right? I mean, today is like, the high is like 190 and then came back down again, right? So if we were to breach 190, we go to like 191 or 192 or 193, right? And we stay above it, of course. I think that could spark off more momentum, all right? The green 20 days moving average line would, I mean, in fact, it is already starting to slope up a little bit, right? But I think that would, where it would be, really start, point up even more. I think that could lead the next upside, the next phase of the upside all the way to $2 or maybe up to $2.10, right? And these bullish signals can continue to play out. So I think you want to take a more aggressive or more confirmation approach. You could wait for a very clear, firm price action, all right, a bullish candlestick above the 190. If we close above, that would be great, all right? But I think anything above, let's see, 180 seems to be a pretty good support. You can see it rebounded from it, right? So anything above 180, I'm not too sure whether you go back down for you to buy, but maybe 190 would be a support level for now already, right? Just watch what we call the 190. If we break it, that will be a new support level, and that's where targets could be revised even higher. All right, so that would be for Sheng. Chris Young on the way to be your VIP client. Awesome, right? As I say, we have a lot of clients over here. Thank you so much. Kasifong, Amanda, client Chi Sing as well, Dave as well, client. Thank you so much for the support. So those of you who are kind of like scrolling through YouTube and Facebook, you don't get any support from your own broker, no ideas, no video, nobody send you anything, right? The link is right there. Click on it, find out how you can become a VIP client, get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp. All right, so that is Sheng. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock. Bervyn?
Thanks, Joey. All right. Okay, let me just see. I'm going down a list right here. So Jamie Yoshiko. Hopefully, I'm not butchering your name, Yoshiko. Hi, can someone please comment on the trends and the possible profit targets of UOL, SGX, CNMC, GoldMine, I believe Dairy Farm, and IFAST. Okay, so I think Joey did CNMC, GoldMine right now. Maybe I will cover IFAST. Right, so I haven't seen your name before. So if you're first time here, welcome. Welcome to our weekly AMAS session. I think Tony is also asking about IFAST. So I think I should cover IFAST right here. All right, so right on the screen here, we have IFAST. I think recently, in the late of April, it actually reported some results. I think their Hong Kong segment, their newer segments, and doing so well. Net profit has dropped a little bit. I've been following this as well, but I think a little bit concerning right here, right, Tony, as well. We see that 100 days moving average has just crossed below that 200 days moving average, and both moving averages have started to slope downwards. So I think we cannot bluff ourselves anymore. The longer term trend is down at this point. It's down now. It's not up anymore. And the 20 days moving average is below also that 100 days, 200 days moving average. Although it looks like it is flattening out a bit, prices are stabilizing a bit, but there is actually no new signs of any reversal at this point. So I think right now, I think most people who are holding IFAS are looking for a little bit of more. If they have been holding on some profits, they will probably looking for some profit protection already. We're just getting in. I think they are looking at some stop loss levels already. All right, so I think the immediate support would be placed around that 620 level because prices have rebounded from this level twice. Will it rebound for the third time? I don't know. I don't think Joey knows as well. So I think the best thing to actually do would be to also set up an alert below that 620 level if you're looking to buy. All right, if you're looking to buy, I think you should maybe just take a back seat for a little bit. All right, take a back seat for a little bit. Why? We want to wait for that longer term trend to maybe flatten out a little bit more. But that being said, if it's a longer term trend, of course, we need to see that 20 days moving average behave in our favor first, in the sense of pointing up, because it has already flattened out. Maybe the next sign we need to see if it is able to start to point up, and eventually prices heading close to that $7 level and hopefully breaking it as well. Why that is important is because previously prices have held above this $7 level for a few more than a year as well. So that is the phase that we actually want to go back towards, as we are currently under that $7 level. May see a little bit of a resistance or a little bit of a profit taking for those who have bought close to that 620 level, come in to sell at that $7 level as well. So if that $7 level gives way, I'll place the immediate psychological level or the next psychological level right around that $8 level first. The $8 level first. So I think right now for IFAS, still looking not too good. If that 620 level is broken, I think downside towards that 540 level would be possible as well, which is going back to 2023 July to November period already. Right, so if I were to just turn on, okay, just let me turn on lastly that trailing support and resistance. Definitely seeing a trailing resistance right here. So like Joey also I mentioned, that trailing support gives the stock space to actually breathe as it moves up. That trailing resistance does the same, right? But it gives the stock space to breathe as it moves down. And you want that trailing resistance, or what you can think of it as that ceiling, that lowering ceiling, to actually be broken. All right, with prices breaking above that ceiling, we can potentially see a reversal. But right now, I do not think that there is any signs of reversal just yet. Perhaps a little bit of stabilization. So I think it's still a little bit too early to say where the direction could be heading. So just protect your profits or protect your downside, all right? Tony and Jamie. Okay, so back to you, Joey. Cover the next.
All right, okay, let's move on to the next one, all right? And I think that would be a very speculative stock today, and that would be, I think, Esther. Esther, you're asking about Rex International. I've not really followed this stock, but it seems like it's been really volatile. All right, we have some bullish signals coming out in November. Look at this pump, and then you go all the way up. We got a bearish signal. Not too sure whether you have wrote that, all right, or you have access to this indicator. But essentially, you can see we have a bearish signal. It starts coming down. Another bearish signal went down, and a new bullish signal coming out in April. All right, after the tariffs was announced by Trump, bottom out, got a reversal, and it is now already up by 85% in about 2 over months, right? So not too sure exactly when you bought it, Esther. All right, but it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good right now. I think we got a bullish signal that is still playing out. The only thing is that I think it's gone up a little bit too fast. I mean, 85% in 2 months, that's a little bit too fast, right? We want to see some consolidation, maybe a bit of higher support being found. Let's see if I can show you that level, right? But right now, we have push up. The short-term trend is up. The longer term trend is up. Maybe a bit of support if you can draw for you around the 19 cents, right? So 0.19. I think that is kind of like a near term support. It was a support in February. Of course, we broke down and then a bearish signal came out and it went all the way down, right? I'm not saying it will break down, but I mean, if you go below 19 cents, you might want to be careful because that's where we could potentially see, kind of like a retracement back down, like what we have seen. Like you can take this, right? And then we take over here. That's potentially what we can see if we were to break below the 0.190, the 19 cents, right? So, but so far we're still above it. Like it's like 225, so it's still okay. It's still okay. All right. If I can quickly turn on the trailing support level over here, well, it's a bit of space. In fact, that's like 18 cents, so a little bit of space. So anything above 18 or 19 cents, still okay, right? But just take note, it's a bit more volatile. It seems like it's gone up a bit more, right? It's live, right? So it's like moving. Resistance-wise, let's see. I would say we are back to testing the previous resistance right over here, right? That was in February last year at 0.23. So that is pretty much the high that we're seeing right over here. So yeah, we are pretty much near this same old resistance, 0.22 to 0.23. Normal to see a bit of profit taking over there. So I'm not too sure exactly where you bought the Rex, Esther, but if you've gone in like, 12 cents, 13, 14 cents, especially if you have been alerted to the bullish signal, great, you are definitely sitting on profits, right? So what you're going to do right now is that you can hold, right? But I don't want to just say you can hold, but the thing is that you can hold, but what is your plan, all right? Like, just hold all the way and then don't leave it, don't care about it, and then open it up in 1 year or 2 years' time and take a look. Probably not, right? Then you don't want to hold that way, all right? But when we say can hold, what we say is that, you want to hold, but you want to, kind of like a plan to protect your profits when you're holding. All right, not just hold blindly, right? Protect your profits when you're holding. For example, as I say, if it goes below 19 cents, have a stop loss, get out, take some profits, don't let it go all the way back down, and then, that it's back to square one, right? So I think it's still okay. Anything above 19 or maybe even 20 cents still looks okay. All right, if we can bridge 23 to 24, I think that's where targets could be revised even higher. All right, so that is for Rex International. All right, and by the way, guys, I mean, if you're gonna find out, I mean, in terms of like having access to this one GT indicator, we do have a light version. So what you're gonna do is that you can test drive my one good trend light indicator for free. All right, Bervyn can just place the link in the chat. So check it out. That's the link in the chat. That's where you can test drive the one GT or the one good trend light indicator for free. All right, and you can just turn it on any stocks, any asset classes, and you can get an opinion in seconds, right? Or not just Singapore stocks, even on US stocks, even on crypto, on any asset classes, right? Check it out. The link is right in the chat, right? So I'm giving it for free. Test drive it. The most incredible free gift ever in the stock market. Test drive my one good trend light indicator. Get an opinion in seconds. This is the page. Click on the link. You come to this page, and you get over $3,000, $3,997 of pure training for free as well. All right, just for testing drive. All right, test driving this one good trend light indicator. All right, so you guys here when to get in and when to get out on any stocks, any asset classes. Okay, let's move on to the next stock. Bervyn, back to you. Bervyn, you're muted.
Let me see. Okay, so I think just now someone was asking, I think Andy, we would like to buy Full Empire, but because a little bit hesitant because a drop in volume, no volume. All right, no worries. Let's take a look at Food Empire as of right now. I think like what Joey have said, the 1GT indicator is very particularly useful in this sense because you see there is one 1GT bullish signal that appeared here and prices actually moved up, right, until that 1GT bearish signal, 25% increase in price before a signal before the exit signal actually came out, and another 1GT bullish signal that actually came in, and right now it had moved up another 26% for Food Empire. All right, so that is just a rough gauge, and using this 1GT bullish signal can actually give you that little bit of a confidence or a little bit of that extra confirmation that you may need to actually enter a trade. Okay, so but for Food Empire right now, like what Andy have said, looking to buy, but then he sees like the volume has decreased a little bit in the most recent days, and of course we also see that sellers have actually came in closely. Right here, I have actually drawn like a resistance close to that $2, but prices did not actually come close to it. It went up to as high as about 190 before it actually came back down already. Right, it actually came back down a little bit. Right now, I'll place that immediate support. Sorry, the immediate support right around that 170 level, and if this level gives way, because that 20 days moving average have actually started to slope down, flatten down, slope down already. I think it doesn't seem like it's looking like it's pointing up anymore. All right, it's no longer pointing up anymore. So I think that is a sign that maybe a little bit of nearer term weakness can be expected. But I think it's still a little bit too early to say. We are still holding above that 170 immediate support level. We don't see any 1GT bearish signal actually coming back in right now just yet. But if I were to just turn on that trailing support, Andy, you can see that that trailing support is also right around that 170 level. And if this level is broken, okay, if this level is broken, we may see a 1GT bearish signal or bearish exit signal actually come right in if this level gives way. But so far, no signal just yet, and maybe potentially we could see a little bit of buyers coming in, like a similar phase that had happened here where prices consolidated for a little bit before trying to push back up. That could happen as well. So I think Andy, if you're looking to get in, just maybe just wait for a little bit longer. Let's see if we see another 1GT bearish signal come in. If a bearish signal come in, definitely don't want to buy first lah. Better to actually just wait it off and see if there's another new 1GT bullish signal that actually come back in. But if you don't see a bearish signal and prices just move a little bit sideways, it is, I think, okay to buy a little bit more expensive. A little bit more expensive in what sense? Wait for a little bit of that confirmation to come in. Maybe you have to buy a little bit higher, about maybe 178, 179. But right then, we will see that 20 days moving average already starting to flatten out and point up. Okay, so it could be a little bit more aggressive in that sense, is because the upside to that 190 may not be the sufficient reward for the risk that you are going to be undertaking. So I think that is something to consider as well. So I mean, the other way we could actually do is to actually wait if prices break above that 190 level. So if the 190 level is broken, let's just do a simple projection right here. We could see the upside towards that $2.11 level. So I think maybe a more aggressive strategy could be could give you a better reward to risk ratio as well. All right. Okay, so that is a very quick one. All right, Andy, for Food Empire. Passing the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock. I think we can go to the banks, right? To the banks. I think some of you are asking about the banks. So let's see, right? We have this bank right over here, right? Singapore Property Update, right? So today we're talking about stocks, right? Singapore Property Update, but you're asking about DBS Bank. So let's talk about DBS right now at about $44.04, right? $44.02. So you can see it's changing right now as I'm talking. So I think for DBS, right, actually it's one of the pretty strong Singapore play that's been leading the STI index. In fact, it came out in the news that it's one of the highest market cap in Singapore, right? few weeks back when it hit the high. Of course, we saw a bit of a retracement back down as market weakened. But in the longer term, I would say that DBS is in a pretty good uptrend, right? Since like last year, February, we have been in a very strong uptrend. Look at the red and blue line. They're still pointing up. Red is above the blue, all right? And then both are still pointing up. So longer term trend has been up. In the short term, yeah, we can see weakness, right? In terms of a sell down, like in April, February, March, you can see the green line started to turn down, all right? Same thing, that was in July last year, the green line turned down. So short-term weakness, even though the longer-term trend is up, all right? So what we're going to do is that we always want to wait for the trend to turn up for both in the longer term and the short term. And we also want to see if there are any, bullish signals that have came out to guide us to get in. So as I say, let me just go to turn on the 1GD Pro indicator. We can turn on any stocks, any asset classes, get an opinion in seconds, right? So let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, pump. Okay, let's take a look at what it says on DBS. Wow, look at this, right? So bearish signals, the green line point down. You want to be careful. You want to wait, right? Don't rush in. When you see a bullish signal, it's not one but two, and then you can see the green line goes up. There we go. All right. 1, 2, 3 bullish signals. There we go. All right. So let's take a look, right? We got a bearish signal in April. I think Trump, tariffs, everything sold off, right? Even DBS got a bearish signal, right? We went from like 44 to 36 and started to see a bit of a rebound. A new bullish signal came back that led the reversal all the way to $44 right now. So if I can draw this resistance level, I would say that this resistance would be at, let me see very clearly. Write it down. I think this resistance is very, very, very clear, all right? And that would be none other than $45.50. One time, two time, and then we also got a bearish signal right over here. And in fact, last week we headed here, the same area, and sellers came back and we are pushing away from that resistance level. So that's why, every time we hit to a key resistance level, all right, and that's what I share with my graduates and my mentees, right? There's nothing wrong to take some money off the table, right? Take some profits. Why? Because we have seen selling there. Every time we near it, it comes back down. Near it, comes back down. So if we near it again, take some profit, it's fine, right? I mean, take half, take 1/3. I think nothing wrong. So that if it comes back down, at least you free up some cash. You can think about getting in again. Does it make sense? So nothing wrong to take some profit near resistance level. So you want to know what is the key level, and 45.50 would be a key resistance level for now. What about the support level? Well, I would say that for DBS, you can see that the green line, all right, this 20 days moving average line, it was like going down in April, all right, sold off after tariff, rebounded all the way from May, up. And now the green line, it is starting to, I would say, flatten out. Does it make sense? I mean, you have to bluff yourself. I mean, it's up, means up, it's down, means down, sideways, means sideways, right? So it's a bit of sideways movement. It just means that at the top, we have seen a bit of a resistance, which is correct, right? We got this resistance at $45.50, right? And the green line, thankfully, it is still kind of like not pointing like down. I mean, if it's like in April when it's like down, then you want to be careful. But right now, still okay. It's like sideways. But just to be a bit more careful, I would say maybe this $44 support level could be tested again. Let me just draw this level right over here, right? $44. Let me show you right over here. You can see that over the past one of a month, wow, we got some bullish candles here, buyers starting to come back and push it all the way above 44. It was a resistance level. Right now, we are still above 44, just trying to be above 44, right? So just be careful. I think, if we were to go below that 44, like we go to $43.90 or $43.80, and we go below it, then not so good, right? We could potentially see a bit of weakness in the short term. All right, let me just turn on the trailing support. All right, over here, you can see, right? This trailing support has popped up since like April, right? Follow, go up. You can see that we are kind of like still, so this 44 is what I've drawn, right? But let me just remove this. You can see that we are just above the trailing support that actually give DBS space to breathe, right? As we have been following it since April, right? You ought to be above it if you're good, right? We give you the space, and then we account for volatility, all right? But after giving you the space and yet you still go below it, then maybe not so good, maybe not so good. So this trailing support will be somewhere around $43.80. I mean, just to give it a bit of allowance, right? So if we go below 43.80, and then a little bit weaker, not so good. In fact, if we see the green line, I mean, if we go below 43.80, we see a bearish signal plus this green line also start to point down. they're not so good. That's where we could start to see a bit of weakness in the short term. Doesn't mean it's going to crash or what. I mean, just that, might see a bit of weakness in the short term, might pull back down to like 43, 42, and then maybe a new bullish signal that can lead the reversal back up again. Does it make sense? So just take note of this level, right? 43.80, 44, these are all very critical support levels that we want to be above. Hopefully we stay above, then it still looks okay. If not, some short-term selling can come back. All right, so that is for DBS, right? That's for DBS. Okay, Ken? Okay, so let me go ahead to pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, so okay, let's see. Okay, I think Eugene is asking, is it a good time to buy SGX for a longer term? Oh, very good question. So I think one of the things that most people realize about SGX or the counter is it's pretty much been moving in a very good uptrend or very textbook healthy uptrend. So what's been happening is prices move up, consolidated a little bit, move up, consolidated a little bit, move up, consolidated again, moved up, and we are now consolidating again. So I think there is a very, very textbook, solid, good uptrend, a very healthy uptrend. But the question is, could this uptrend, continue, or is it the end of the line? Is prices a little bit too high? I think for as of right now, we can see that yes, we found a little bit of a support, right? A little bit of that support. I got that trailing support turned on as well, and we also see that prices or buyers have very stably come back as prices approach that 1370 level, right? Twice already. I think most recently another time. Are we going to actually rebound from this 1370 level to head back towards that $14.90, $15 psychological level before breaking above it, continuing in that textbook uptrend? I think as of right now, all signs still point towards that uptrend being intact because that 100 days moving average still pointing up, 200 days moving average still pointing up, that 20 days moving average came down a little bit, now pointing up again, very similarly to previously, came down a little bit, point up, moved up. So this has been going on for SGX for quite a long period of time. Just turn off this trailing support so you can see that 20 days moving average, pointing down, going up. So we are again going through that same phase, right? Again going through that same phase. So that's a good confirmation that as long as this 1370 level is able to hold, I think that upside towards up to that $15 psychological level is possible. And furthermore, we have 1GT bullish signal actually still present at this point. So turning back on that trailing support right now, you can see that trailing support. Let me just zoom in a little bit. That trailing support is right around that 1345. So as long as this trailing support is able to hold, we are still quite far away from it. So as long as it's still able to hold, we don't see prices coming close to it just yet. I think that uptrend could potentially continue. Okay, so I think if you're looking to get in, I think definitely that support area around that 1370 to maybe up to that 1385 be a potential buy zone for many of those buyers or people that are looking to actually accumulate as prices move up. So far, so good, I would say, for SGX. It still looks like that healthy uptrend is still intact. Just have to take note of that buy zone. Maybe you want to have some alerts just being set up. I have some alerts being set up as well for SGX. All right, Eugene can just take note. And if that 15 level is broken, I would say yes, definitely that new phase of uptrend is still could be a very big possibility for SGX as well. All right, okay, so a very quick one for SGX. Passing the time back to Joey to cover the next stock for you guys.
Okay, let's go and let's talk about this thing called Nanofilm, right? Nanofilm. I think a few of you asking about this stock called Nanofilm. I've not really followed it. I think it was pretty weak, pushing lower over the past few years. But let's see who is asking about Nanofilm, right? EDK, Nanofilm, please, thank you. We have Vincent as well. Notice Nanofilm start to move uptrend. Any advice on this stock? Let's take a look at it right now. So for Nanofilm, well, you can see that we have been in I would say, a downtrend since even 2023. Look at this, right? Yes, we forming what we call lower highs. We have bearish signals coming out. That was in 2022, and it just starts going all the way down. Bearish signals goes all the way down. So I would say definitely much more bearish signals coming out, especially when we are in a longer term downtrend. Look at this, right? Bearish signals, and it starts pushing lower. Every time we got a bullish signal, it just goes up for like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then it starts coming back down again when the bearish signal pops up. So let's go to zoom in to what has happened. So right now I would say for Nanofilm is at 0.655. So just like beginning of the year, where we actually got a bearish 1 GT signal, right? Bearish 1 GT signal. You can see the trend, the green line. There was like going down, started to flatten out. It was not like going up, right? It was like going flat, and then words start going down even more as another confirmation. And we started to hit even lower, right? From like 80 cents all the way to 50 cents, right? So when you see a bearish signal, right, as I say, it can guide you not to buy. I mean, if you see a bearish signal, but right, when you see a new, fresh 1 GT bullish signal coming out, like over here, all right, right over here. So I was not following this stock, but great that you shared with us this stock, Vincent. All right, so you can see that in May, well, we actually finally got a new 1 GT bullish signal, and another one just came out like last week. You can see over here, second bullish 1 GT signal, and we have indeed started to push a little bit higher. So a lot of people always ask me, Joey, you mentioned to be patient, to wait for the right time to enter and all that. And so what are we waiting for, right? Well, we want to wait for things like this, right? We want to wait for a clear signs of a reversal to get in, rather than just getting in or over here and over here and over here and over here, and then you go down, and then it's like good luck to you, right? We don't want to do that. We want to wait for clear signs of a reversal, right? To catch the reversal, because that's when there are signs of strength, there are signs of buyers coming back in again, and that's what you want to do, right? So for Nanofilm, well, definitely you're right, Vincent. There is definitely some signs of the uptrend forming. To be clear, in the short term, because why? The green line, the green 20 days moving average line has started to point up. So you're right, in terms of an uptrend in the short term. So we are indeed pushing higher, right? And in fact, we are also kind of like, breaking this resistance level. I would say a little bit of a support here. 64, 65, right? We broke down, and it seems like today we are actually attempting to break above that 64 to 65 cents. So not too bad. I think upside targets could be maybe all the way up to, that would be a bit of resistance to like 88, but this might be a bit too high. I would say maybe another of resistance here around that 76 cents. So yeah, not too bad. I think what could happen is that we could potentially push higher, but along the way there could be some consolidation or some profit taking coming back, right, near that 75 to 76, or maybe even near that 80 cents as well. So what you could do is that, if you're taking a position in a stock like this, well, you want to have a plan. Right? The only thing I'm not so bullish about in this stock, right, is that, the longer term trend is down. Look at the red line, all right, this red line. Okay, let me just remove all the drawing. All right, you see that this red 100 days moving average line is pointing down. The blue line is also pointing down. So, we are up in the short-term trend, but unfortunately, the longer-term trend, which takes a while to play out, right? It doesn't just change in 1 or 2 days or 1 month, right? It takes a while to play out, but the longer-term trend is still down. So that's one thing, right? So if you're taking a position in this stock, right, you want to get a quick trade, get in, maybe get out at like, 75 or 80 cents. Well, have a plan, all right? Because in case we see a bearish signal, all right, like this, or maybe like this, right, coming out, and then you're like, or maybe even like this. So you can see, right, all this while the longer term trend is down. So every time we get a bearish signal coming out, it starts pushing down even lower. All right, so you want to have a plan to get out, especially if a new bearish signal comes out. If we break certain support levels, like let me show you, right? For example, this is the trailing support level. It's kind of like following it as it moves up. So maybe it could be 60 cents. If we go below 60 cents, you want to have a plan to get out in case a bearish signal appears. And we could start to see the longer term trend that is down, right, taking control again, right? So that's what you want to do, right? So short term is okay, but longer term trend is down. Unfortunately, we could push up, but just want to be careful in case some selling were to appear again. All right, so that is for Nanofilm. All right, so I hope that helps, Vincent. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joey. All right, okay, so the next one I just want to cover very quickly. Kanaf is asking about Wilmar. What about Wilmar? I think he's asking twice. We can buy Wilmar now. I think Wilson is also asking, good morning, Wilson, as well. Wilmar can accumulate, looks like bottom of the range. Let me just throw it up very, very quickly. Right, right here we have Wilmar. Yes, it is definitely. I mean, one look we can tell it has been in the bottom of the range. We have previously came close to this level in February of 2024, August of 2024. Didn't come right close, and right now we could be heading back towards that 285 support level with that 1 GT bearish signal. Sorry, bearish signal still valid that came out I think 2 days ago as well. I think Wilmar has been caught up in a little bit of bad news, I would say. A little bit of an unfortunate situation in the most recent days. I haven't been really following this stock as well, but you're right. It has been just been moving in a range. I think that upside towards or that resistance towards that $3.25 to that 330 level is still valid. But we are on the bottom of the range, and we currently see that 20 days moving average pointing down, prices breaking below that $3 psychological resistance. Let me just change the color here. All right, so breaking below that psychological support, now becoming a resistance, and we could be heading back towards that 285 level. That 100 days moving average also not looking too good, pointing down. 200 days moving average not looking too good, also starting to point down already. So not too sure if it's able to hold above that 285 level, but I think it could be a little bit worrying if that 285 level is broken. Because why? We just do a projection from up to down. You can also do it from down, lower. We could see prices head towards that 265 support level. So that is not what you want. Why? It is because by then that 100 days moving average will definitely be pointing down very steeply. 200 days as well. Then that 20 days moving average would also be pointing down. I think there are plenty of other stocks to actually look at, to actually accumulate as well. But I think for Wilmar, no signs are pointing to any reversals just yet. Maybe if prices are able to like rebound, consolidate close to that 285, rebound a little bit, head back towards that $3 level, yes, then maybe a breakout strategy above that $3, I would say, would be a very good play, or could potentially be in the books. But I think for right now, I think we are more worried about that downside, because the last thing you want to do is, you have to buy at 285. Oh, prices break lower, hit towards that 265. Oh, got to buy again. You do not want to be averaging down. Right, you do not want to be averaging down. So I think Wilson just set an alert for 285 and maybe just under 285 as well. Just to let yourself know that is that level being broken, or is that level actually holding? All right, so there's a very quick one for Wilmar. Maybe I'll pass the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next one, and that would be ST Engineering, right? ST Engineering. I think we have Janice Young asking about ST Engineering. Still good to buy now, right? So, this stock, ST Engineering, has been our favorite stock. In fact, since the beginning of the year, we have been covering it. Z also, who's not here today, right? Z, under my team, has actually been talking about, this bonus stock that she shared at the end of our Ask Me Any Stock session as well many times, right? So one of our favorite stocks, you can see that the trend has been up in the longer term, in the short term is up as well. And when we got this bullish signal there, we'll talk about many times, right? I think Z has mentioned many times in our Ask Me Any Stock session. There's appeared since like January, right? January. Today is June, right? June 23rd, June, right? Sorry, 20 June. Today is 20th June, right? So it's like almost like 6 months already. We have this bullish signal that has been playing out. It has gone from about, let's see, about like 69, 70%, right? 70% in about 5 months. I think that's pretty impressive. So let's see whether is it still good to buy now, right? Janice, I think that's your question. Is it good to buy now? Well, longer term trend is up, short term trend is up. In fact, we've been talking about buying along the way since like February, March, April. So of course now it's more expensive than then, right? But the thing is that nobody knows whether it can go higher, right? But I want to share with you guys this very key resistance level, whereby if we were to breach this resistance, we could potentially see a new phase of upside, right? Targets can be revised even more, and that would be none other than the $8 Let me just draw this red line for you. Right over here, you can see that over the past 2-3 weeks, well, a little bit of a profit taking came back down, came back down. Even last few days as well, we neared it, and we just couldn't break above that $8. So you see, right? I've set some alerts right over here: 803, 802, 804. Right over here, whereby, you know, if we do break the $8, I think that is where we may even see a new bullish signal coming out, and that could really see targets being revised to $8.50 or even $9, right? So that's one thing I want to watch, right? So if you're looking to enter, well, what I could do is to turn on the trailing support level. So you can see, right, after getting this bullish signal in January, to be exact, 23rd January, right, we got this trailing support popping out. As I say, the trailing support is kind of like a feature whereby, you know, we give the stock space to breathe, and we follow it, as the name sounds, trailing support. So we follow it as it moves up, right? We follow it as it moves up, right? Give it space, don't follow too closely. You can see as it moves up, it follows flat up, flat up, flat up, and now it is like somewhere around that 750 level. So anything above 750. So you can see every time we near the trailing support, rebounded, we near the trailing support, rebounded, right? I'm really not too sure whether we can near it for you to you know, rebound or buy, but I think anything above that 750, it still looks pretty okay. So if we do go near that 750 or 760, wow, that'll be good, right? It's a little bit more attractive, a little bit cheaper, all right? And that will be a higher reward upside, but nobody knows, right? Nobody knows whether you can near it for you to buy, but every time we neared the trailing support, buyers came back up, it rebounded. Of course, the green 20 days moving average line, when we neared it, was up, right? It was up. So short-term trend has been up since January, all right? Even though we see a short pullback, but, you know, short-term trend was pretty much still up. So I think anything near 750 to $7.70 or 780 on dips, I think that could be a good entry, all right? But if you want to get a very clear confirmation, all right, or more of an aggressive move, you could wait for a break above the $8, right? So anything, you know, if it breaks $8, we go to like 801, 805, 804, the kind of thing, right? Good. I think that's where more upside momentum can happen. Targets could be rise even higher. All right. So that is for ST Engineering. So let me just go through some of the questions as well. So I think Chris, right, you have some questions. I noticed your 1GT is like trend riding. Correct, exactly. So this is a trend trading strategy. As the name sounds, one good trend, right? So guys, you're going to find out a little bit more about the entire strategy, right? I don't have time to explain the whole strategy, right? You can attend one of those free webinars, but we don't have any webinars in the next week or next 1 or 2 weeks. But team can just place the link in the chat. Maybe we have one in like July. You can attend it, right? So find out a bit more. But essentially, this is a trend trading strategy whereby we allow our profits to ride, right, to maximize our gains, as long as we're in the same direction as a trend. I mean, look at this, right? 60%, right? In just from one bullish signal from ST Engineering all the way up, 72%. So we did it right? Now it's 72%. So now you might ask me, hey, Joey, could it be 80 or 90%? I don't know, right? It could be, right? I mean, it was like 40, 50%, but now it's 72, right? So it could be more, right? But we did it right. And we don't cut our profits short, especially if there could still be more upside. Does it make sense, right? What's the point of getting out when, I mean, potentially can go even higher, right? So that is the whole point of it, right? So, however, I think you may improve when there's consolidation. So whenever there's consolidation, that's where we could see the trailing support just flattening out. And as I say, that could be where you could time your entry to get in, especially if the short-term trend is still up. So Chris, you can have one of our free webinars. The link is in the chat. That's where we'll share with you guys a little bit more as to the entire strategy or where to think about getting in and out based on any bullish or even bearish signals. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so let me just cover the next stock. Okay, right here I have SIA. I think someone was asking about SIA just now. Can't seem to find the comment, but no worries. Okay, so maybe just cover SIA very quickly. I think prices have recently shown some good signs. 1GT bullish signal, prices breaking above that $7 a key resistance level, that which was its previous high sometime in 2023. But I think it was a little bit short-lived. It was a little bit short-lived because prices were not able to hold above that $7 level. So hopefully those that have managed to get in, or those who have get in for SIA, have some stop losses in place as well. Because why? we have that one GT bearish signal actually just coming in, I think about a week ago as well, and prices falling below that $7 level. The immediate support, I would place it around the 670 level, which is also right around where the 100 days moving average is currently at the same time, and that 20 days moving average also already pointing down. So I think in the meantime, the upside target to that 750 level, I think got to put a hold first lah. We got to watch the downside now. So with that one GT bearish signal still valid, if I were to turn on that trailing resistance support and resistance, you could see right here, I think that one GT signal is blocking a little bit that red line. The red line actually starting to go down. So if prices or if SIA hits back to where it started right around that $6 level, you definitely see that trailing support hit down lower and lower and lower. And if, like what Joey had mentioned, if prices consolidate close to that support, the 670 support, you will then see that trailing resistance, flatten out a little bit, moving sideways. Yes, upside or uptrend consolidation and downtrend consolidation. The trailing and the trailing support and resistance will also show as well. So I mean, you can use that trailing resistance in the sense where if prices are able to come close to that trailing resistance, all right, perhaps it may not break that trailing resistance, so it's completely okay as well. Okay, so that trailing resistance right now is close to that $7. Completely okay to take some profits close to that $7 level as well if you have gotten in. But if prices hit lower, I would suggest to just place a alert below that 670 level, because you do not want that support to be broken and then prices heading back to that $6 level, and previously you already are sitting on some profits and it becomes a loss again. So I think for SIA, I think it is something to monitor, not really something to buy, but I think something to more like protect your profits first. Okay, so I think that's for SIA. Passing the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
Okay, very good. Let me go ahead to move on to the next stock, and that would be Propnex. But there are some questions I'm going to go through, right? Mona, I think some questions over here. Do you sell your one good trend software? I would say this indicator. So we don't actually sell it, right? You can test drive it for free. We have the light version, whereby it just comes up with bullish and bearish signals. We don't have all the advanced features, so we can just place the link in the chat again. So test drive it for free, guys. The one good trend light indicator, whereby you can quickly turn on the bullish and bearish signal. I think I've shown you guys just now. So there's a page, click on it. You come to this page, test drive my one good trend light indicator for free. Get a 14 days test drive, right? Incredible free gift ever in the stock market, and you get some of our top trainings as well to guide you on how to use this indicator. So that's a light version. If you find a bit more in terms of the pro version, all right, whereby you get more advanced features and we walk you through how to use it, well, then you can attend more of our free webinars, all right, whereby I will share with you in detail, right, in terms of the entire one good trend strategy. So I hope that helps, Mona. All right, so that's the link in the chat. Check it out. Test drive my one good trend light indicator for free. All right. Okay, let's see another question by Yin as well. Joey, how does your 1GT works in whenever market is sideways versus in trending? So basically, this one good trend strategy, as the name sounds, all right, it is about trend trading. All right. So when there are signs of an uptrend, we get bullish signals to guys to get in. Of course, when it turns down, we get bearish signals. Of course, in the sideways market, that's where we will have a couple of a bullish and bearish signals as well. And we can use that as a guide as well to see whether is it more bullish or more bearish. Of course, we have other confirmations as well, Yen, all right, to guide us on top of the bullish and the bearish signals. All right. So if you want to find out more, Yen, I think I don't have time to explain the whole strategy, but we do have like a 7-point checklist. All right. So we want to find out more, attend all those free webinars. The link is, I think, is above as well. All right, Ken. Okay, so let's move on to Propnex. Propnex, who is asking about Propnex? I think I saw just now. We have Propnex that's being asked by let's see, right? Jimmy, Propnex and Yang Zhejiang is now sideways. When is the next level up? Vincent as well. Propnex hovering at 104 to 106. What is your take on this counter? I think another one of you asking about Propnex, right? Let's see who is asking about Propnex. We have Yeah, I think yeah. Let me just go and talk about Propnex right now. So I think there's a lot of chat messages above, so I might miss it. But this is Propnex. So you can see that for Propnex, well, we had a couple of bearish signals, right? Since like last year. Look at this, right? Bearish, bearish, bearish. So even though it was like sideways, moving sideways, but we have bearish signals coming out, right? So just want to be a bit more careful if you see a bearish signal, especially if you see signs of the trend in terms of the moving averages. The green line turning down as well. Look at this, as the green line turns down, these bearish signals appear, and we went all the way down from 80 over cents to like 70 cents. All right, and you want to wait for it. I know it might be a bit boring, right? I always say wait, but wait for what? Well, wait for this, wait for the bullish one GT signal to come out. All right, another one, pump, two more coming out, and there we go. All right, there we go, all the way up until we got a bearish signal, 41% in 5 months, right? How's that, right? 41%. So that's what you want to wait for. You want to wait for the confirmation of the green 20 days moving average line turning up as well. All right, so that's what actually happened for Propnex. So let's see what is happening right now. So we got a bearish signal. When was that? 7 April, no wonder, right? Because Propnex has been pretty resilient, right? Every time it's holding quite well above the support. So it's quite curious how come there's a bearish signal. Well, on that day, that would be the 7th April, right? That's when Trump actually introduced tariffs, the market down by 4%, 5%. Even, Propnex has been holding really well, also triggered a bearish signal. But the next day, we started to see a bit of rebound, and it's like, back to its support again. I think this support level would be key. The $1. Let me just draw it for you. I think very clearly $1, whereby it broke down, we went back above it. It's still holding over the past 2 months. So $1 all the way to $1 and let's see, $1.10, $1.11. I think that is kind of like the range right now. It's about 10 cents range, right? $1 to $1.10. So you can see we actually got two new bullish signals coming out. So it looks pretty more bullish. At least we have been holding above the $1. All right. But I would say that I would prefer to see the short-term trend actually turning back up as well. All right. Short-term trend turning back up as well. Because the short-term trend that, we are seeing right now, just by looking at the green line, it was like up. Then it went up and then sideways. Do you agree? Maybe down a little bit, and then now it is like sideways. This green 20 days moving average line, it is moving sideways. So I would prefer the short-term trend to turn up, right? This green line to turn up like this as another comfort, something like this, right? If you can see this thing like here, all right, happening. So you can see, like for example, let's say, and then it was like sideways, and it starts turning up like this, right? So you could like take this here. I mean, after getting the bullish signals, right? We take this over here, and we kind of like paste it something like this, right? That could lead the next upside. All right, that could lead the next upside, especially if you were to break above the $1.10, right? We go to 112, 113, 114. You can see that I have some price alerts over here. I think that would be where it could be so much faster, right? And we would get much more confirmations of the higher phase. All right, so that's for Propnex. Definitely in my watch list. All right, just that it's still hovering from $1 to 110 for a while now. I'm not too sure when it will break 110, but if that happens, I think the next phase of upside could start to play out. Okay, Ken. So that is for Propnex. Bervyn, back to you.
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, so maybe I just want to actually just because I'm seeing like some asking for the same counter, so I would just like to go through what we have already covered today. Okay, so not to worry, after this whole live session, this replay will definitely be available. All right, so just have to come back to the replay to actually watch the stocks that you're actually asking for and we have already covered. So no worries. Okay, so firstly, we have Joey have covered the S&P 500, followed by the Straits Times Index, the STI, and then he covered the SIA Engineering, followed by I covered Keppel DC REIT, Joey covered CNMC GoldMine, right? The Yang Financial Holdings, Siong, IFAST, Rex International, okay, Food Empire, DBS, Singapore Exchange, SGX, Nanofilm, Wilmar, I think Z's favorite stock, ST Engineering, SIA, Propnex, and then right now I think I will cover one more Singapore bank stock. So I think at the start someone was asking, I think even Sheng was asking, right? OCBC looks like looking to buy, but price has been dropping. When should I buy? I think Tong Siu is also asking DBS or UOB or OCBC. I think Joey covered DBS already. So let me just cover OCBC very quickly. All right, so for OCBC, I think that support level of 15.80 has been holding up very well. Prices have also rebounded very quickly after that April sell down with that one GT bullish signal still playing out. So I think in this sense, if I were to just very quickly turn on that trailing support, you can see that the trailing support has started to move sideways a little bit area. So it has been a start of a consolidation phase. Are we still holding above that trailing support? Yes, definitely we are still holding above that trailing support. Why? Because we don't see that trailing resistance. Okay, so the immediate resistance, I think I would place it about that 1650 level, the 1650 level, where actually sellers in the nearer term have came in not once, not twice, but actually 3 times, came close to it, not able to just break above it just yet. But if that temporary resistance is actually broken or is finally able to give way, I think after a month of consolidation or so, I think that level back to that $17 high, I think could be possible as well. So I think for the immediate entry zone, I will place it about that 1580 to about that $16 level. But that 100 days and 200 days moving average is pretty much flattening out, moving sideways. Even that 20 days moving average looks to be pointing down, not just flattening out just yet. So I think she's saying if you're looking to get in, just hold on for a little bit. Let's see if that 20 days moving average flattens out. Let's see if another one GT bullish signal could come in when prices break above that 1650. I think still okay to buy a little bit more expensive for this counter, but I think we want to make sure that the longer term trend is still intact, because it's starting to flatten out a little bit, very similar to the other bank stocks as well. So I mean, if for those of you who are holding on to some OCBC shares, if you want to take some profits, take some profits close to that 1650 level, it is completely okay to do so. I mean, and in fact, if prices hit back down towards that $16 16 to 1580 level, and you wish to get in again, I think that is also a good plan. Nobody says that if you sell, you cannot buy it back at the same time. All right, okay, so that is for OCBC. So far, just still looking good, just maybe a little bit of a sideways movement. All right, passing the time back to you, Joey.
All right, okay, let's move on to the next stock. And I would want to cover this stock. I think it's a pretty good stock, right? Not too bad. Thanks for sharing with me this stock. And that would be LHN, right? Whole LS. Asking about LHN, right? Bought LHN at 0.41, looking to sell, but not sure when to sell, right? Can advise, very good. Let's take a look at this stock LHN, about 0.585. So you can see for LHN, I've not been really following this stock, but you could see that the longer term trend has been up just by looking at the red and the blue line, right? Both the red and blue are pointing up. The red is above the blue, right? Of course, we had a couple of bullish signals coming out since like November over here. All right, the short-term trend, the green line turned up, and then there we go, right? There we go. I think that was a pretty good move all the way up, 46%, 2 months, right? Pretty okay. Bearish signals come out, right? Then you want to be careful, right? As I say, when you see a bearish signal, it guides you not to buy, all right? To be patient, to wait, all right? To wait for what? Wait for this bullish signals to come back out, right? So that came out in April, 16 April, right? And another one in like May, and then it started to move even higher, right? So we've got 2 bullish signals leading the reversal. So back to your question, whole LS. Bought at 0.41. Well, not too bad. So he bought at 0.41, I would say somewhere over here, right? Somewhere over here. Wow. I mean, when it sold down, I think that was in April, right? So he got in here pretty good. I think, in fact, a week later, we got a bullish signal, and then the rally actually started, right? So not too sure when to sell. So what you could do right now is that, LS, you are already sitting on profits. I mean, you bought the 4-1, now it's 0.585. So in terms of your gains, I would say it is about a 44, pretty good, 44% gain, right? Based on these 2 bullish signals as well. It has been pushing higher, right? The longer term trend is up. The short term trend, obviously, it is still up. This green line, it is still up. And what we could do is that we could turn on the trailing support level. Look at this, right? When we got these bullish signals popping out, right? A trailing support that came out under the price started to pop out, right? And it follows LHN as it moves up, right? Follow up, flat, up, flat, up, flat, up, flat. And we are right over here, maybe around that 55 cents level, around the 55 cents level, right? 55 cents level. Are we above the 55 cents level? Yeah, we are. Now it's like 0.585, right? So we're still above that 55 cents level, which is where the trailing support level is, right? So what you could do, LS is that you could take steps to protect your profits. You want to take steps to protect your profits because you are definitely sitting on profits. I mean, like 41 now it's like 5, not too sure how many shares you bought, but you're definitely sitting on pretty good, decent profits, and you don't want it. Right, the worst thing is that you let it go up, then it starts coming down, and then you think, and you wait, and you hope that you go back up, but then you go back down again, and you wait, then you go down again. And then you're back to 41 cents again, all right? That is not what you want to do, right? You want to make sure you take steps to protect your profit so that in any case, you could have what we call like a stop loss, right? That's one thing very powerful about this trailing support feature that we have as part of the one good trend indicator, whereby we could set it such that you could put your stop loss below the trailing support line. So trailing support is about 0.55. So you could put your your stop loss at about 54, 535, just a little bit of allowance in case it were to consolidate and pam, it goes down below. You get out, right? You still make money, all right? You still make money, or you protect your profit. So I wouldn't advise you to, I think that there could still potentially be more upside. So what you could do is that let it run, let it go. I don't know. Now it's like 5, go to 60, 65, 67, 70 cents. Nobody knows, right? But what I can assure you is that if it continues to move up, this trailing support that has been following it since April will continue to follow it go up. All right. And what you could do then is to raise your stop loss even higher. All right. To protect your profits even higher. Right. While hopefully giving it space to move even higher. Does it make sense, Lapsan? All right, so I hope that helps LS. So I think it looks pretty good. All right, take steps to protect your profits, giving some space to hopefully move higher. I think resistance would be at about 62. If we breach 62, targets could be maybe all the way to 65. All right, Ken. So that is for LHN. Right. So Bervyn, back to you. Maybe we just go one more quick round, and we'll go ahead to cover 2 bonus stocks at the end. All right.
All right. Thanks, Joey. Okay, so maybe I'll cover one more stock here. Let's see. Keppel. Okay, so I think just now someone was asking. Winket. Hi, Winket. Hopefully you're still here. Okay, so this is Keppel Corp. Okay, so not too sure whether you're actually holding some of our Keppel shares or actually looking to get in, but this is definitely one of the shares that is in our watch list in the most recent days. Why? It's because prices have finally broken above that 680 level that has been kept under for so long, under that 680 since 2023. Tested it a few times, not being able to break above it, and finally, right here, pump. Early June, we swiftly, very quickly broke above that 680 level. Then we broke above 720 in just a matter of a week. We have also broken 720, and now 720 is the immediate support level. I think the upside can be drawn to that 760 level first, with that 1 GT bullish signal still pretty much quite valid at this point. It showed up in the 22nd of April, and then from there to now, I think let me just do a little bit of a projection. We have already seen a 20% up move. Could we see another 1 GT bullish signal appear if that 760 level gives way? I think that could be possible as well. But I think I'm looking to see if our prices are going to be consolidating a little bit first. Consolidating a little bit before breaking above that 760 level, just to have a better or healthier uptrend. But that longer term trend definitely starting to point up already. Momentum is definitely still intact. Buyers are actually coming in as of today. I think now is market has stopped trading for lunch already, but we see a bullish candlestick also forming today. So perhaps if prices could break above that 760 level, definitely that $8 target would be the next one. All right, Ringgit. maybe pass the time to Joey to cover the last stock today before we cover our bonus stocks.
All right, okay, let me go ahead to see what stocks there are right now. So I think we have covered quite a fair bit of stocks. So first thing first, our apologies, guys, if we cannot cover all your stock, right? But we do our best. I think we covered like almost 18 stocks right now. Let me move to stock number 19. And then we're going to share 2 new stocks at the end, all right? So let me see. So right now, I would say we can go ahead to talk about this stock called Kelvin Geo Energy, right? Geo Energy. Let me just go ahead to share my screen and pull out this stock right over here. Okay, so this is Geo Energy, all right? The code is RE4. Let's take a look at it, right? So I think like we have found a little bit of a bottom since the past year, all right? Somewhere around at 24, 25 cents. Let's see, we have started to see some bullish signals coming out, all right? In April, started to push up from 30 cents all the way to 355. Longer term trend is up. Short term trend, a little bit of a sideways movement for now. I look, sorry, a bit of it was moving up. The green line started to move sideways. So we are back to some sideways consolidation, right, in the short term. And what would be the range of this consolidation? Well, it would be from quite clearly 34 cents. Okay, let me just draw this in green color. That would be a support level. 34 cents all the way to that 40 cents. So 40 cents, you can see, right? We hit it all the way here. Got a pretty good, I would say, a reversal candle, something like a doji happening right around 38 to 39, and then we started to retrace back down. So I think that is the range right now, 34 all the way to that 40 cents. So I think for Geo Energy, we are just seeing a bit of a sideways consolidation, a bit of a profit taking here is going up and down, up and down. That is pretty much the range. But overall, longer term trend still okay. Short term trend, the green line, as I say, it is sideways for now. All right, we want to wait for it to hopefully just point up a little bit. All right, and of course, if we do break 40 cents, we do get another bullish signal as well. That could be a little bit more confirmation of the rally happening again. All right, or maybe even more upside. Okay, so there's a quick one on Geo Energy. Bervyn, back to you to the next Singapore stock.
All right. Okay. So let me just cover. Joey, I'll cover one more, or do you want to cover the bonus stock already?
Oh, okay. Maybe we can cover one more. Let's do one more.
All right. Okay. So I think there we go. I think Singpost. I think Sky is asking about Singpost right here. All right. I think this is one of the counters. I haven't seen it in a while. To be very frank. Right here we can see that for Singpost there was a recent up move. I think in the mid of May, where we had a 1 GT bullish signal, then a 1 GT bearish signal. As you know, the earnings came out and the prices wasn't too good, or the behavior wasn't too good at the same time. So just right here, Singpost, I think it's on the screen right now. Okay, yeah, sorry, I think just now was the screen was lagging a little bit. Okay, so with Singpost, I think the immediate resistance would be around that $6.30 level, 630. See a little bit of a sideways move. All right, Sky, see a little bit of a sideways move. Is it time to sell? Is your question. I think at this point it could potentially be moving sideways a little bit, or we could potentially see that sideways move continue, as prices have pretty much been moving within this range, I think, since October of 2024, going as high as 630, 635, coming as low as 50 cents, that psychological level. So it's been about more than 6 months, I think about 7 months or so already, and we haven't seen any major price movements or price actions indicating that prices could break above that 630, heading higher, maybe to about that 70 cents level. So I think Sky, to answer your question, is it time to sell? I think it would be more reasonable to ask if you have any other stocks that you're looking to get in, all right, to sell away Singpost, then get in for another counter, because the price movement have been pretty much sideways. And if you are sitting already on some profits, or you are sitting on some losses, you want to cut those losses and then go for a better opportunity. But if you're sitting on some profits already, you may want to just take some steps. Okay, take some steps to protect those profits by using that support line. You can currently see that resistance, that trailing resistance is about that 60 cents level. There's 60 cents level, and if prices break above that 60 cents level, you could see another 1 GT bullish signal coming right in. But if it doesn't and it heads lower, breaks below that 50 cents level, you may see a 1 GT bearish signal actually come in. So by placing like a stop loss below that 50 cents level, it's right around here, maybe about 6.48 cents or so. Yeah, just let yourself get out of that position if the prices break out of a range but not in your favor. All right, so that is for Singpost. Maybe I'll pass the time now to Joey to cover the first bonus stock for you guys today.
Okay, thank you so much, Bervyn. Let me go ahead right now, guys, to move on to the next part whereby we will share with you guys 2 bonus Singapore stock that you want to put in your watch list, right? So let me know, guys, if you have got value so far. This type of V for value, guys. If you have got value so far before I talk about this bonus stock, especially if you have covered your stock, let us know, right? Let us know if you have got value. If you have covered your stock, you get a better understanding of what to do. Let's see, Jenny, thank you for the insight. Awesome as well. Thanks, Bervyn. Thanks for covering Keppel. Awesome, right? Jossing, thanks for the comments as well. So hopefully you guys got value, especially if you covered your stock. Kasifong, Pauline as well, Andy, Damien, Chester, Gerard, all right, Palvesh. Thank you so much. Right, great to see you guys over here today. All right, and that is pretty much just a quick opinion of what we think your stocks look like. All right, as the name of the session sound, right? Ask me any stock. But to add more value to you guys, we want to share with you bonus stocks whereby it has been in our watch list for a while, right? It's been on our watch list for a while. These are some of the Singapore stocks that we actually shared with our clients in Phillip Securities as well. All right, we might have covered it in our Ask Me Any Stocks live session as well over the past few sessions. All right, but these are essentially strong stocks that you want to put in your watch list, all right, for potentially more upside, to maybe think about getting in, right, to time your entry, and that's what you want to do, all right? So the very first stock I'd like to share with you guys today, all right, would be this stock called Centurion, right? Centurion, and the code will be OU8, and the name of this, the code name, all right, of this stock is OU8 Centurion, trading at about $1.54. So this stock, as I say, right, we have covered it since last year. Clients of mine in Phillip Securities, where I'm a broker, actually got alerted by WhatsApp as well, live many times. I think there's more than 4 or 5 WhatsApp messages have been sent out over the past over a year to alert them to stocks like this, right? So as I say again, all right, in case you missed it just now, but if you are currently trading in Singapore, I mean, you need a trading account to buy and sell stocks, right? So if you have a trading account, great, right? The next question I'd like to ask you is there anyone doing anything, all right, in your trading account? Is there a broker? Is there any service? Is there anybody sending you any ideas? Is there anyone sending you any trainings or WhatsApp, or is it like hotline? They have to wait like 5 minutes, right? So if it's all that, then I think what you want to do is check out how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities for free, like many of our clients over here joining us well, right? So you might not be a client because you're just scrolling through YouTube and Facebook, but check it out. The link is right in the chat for the very last time as to how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities for free, where I'm a broker, to get some of my top ideas daily for free at no additional cost. It's pretty much the same as whatever you're paying when you are trading, all right? Free, all right? So check it out. The link is right in the chat. So let's talk about this stock, Centurion, whereby I've shared with my clients many times, and it is trading at about $1.54. So you can see, right, for Centurion, the longer term trend has been up just by looking at the rate and the blue line, the 100 days moving average and the 200 days moving average, right? So whenever we look at stocks, we want to be in the same direction, all right, as the trend. And when we talk about trend, we must at least be in the same direction as the longer term trend, because if the longer term trend is down for the past 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, it's like going down every other week, going down every other day, every other month, then what's the point of getting in stocks like that, right? I mean, it might be very cheap, right? Very good, but it's been going down for the past 1 month, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, right? And you want to get in, right? It could be another 5 more years that it goes down, right? So we don't want to get in on stocks which are going down every other day, right? We want to at least get in on stocks by the longer term trend is up, right? At least you get half the battle won already, right? Because you are in the same direction as the longer term trend, all right? Of course, in the short term, for 1 week, 1 month, that kind of thing, right? It might just go down a bit in the short term, right? That's called short term, right? But that's fine because at least the longer term trend is up, right? And then when we get bullish signals coming out on my one good trend indicator, that is where we get more confirmation, right, to guide us to get the trade in, to lock in the trade, to write more upside because we are already right in the longer term trend, right? Plus the short term trend is up, plus we got the bullish signal. We just get more confirmations. Of course, there are a few other things that we look out for as well as part of the 7-point checklist. So you can attend a free webinar to learn more about that. But essentially, you want to take trades that are in the same direction as a trend because it's just so much harder to be wrong, right? So much harder to be wrong. There's no like 100% and stuff, right? But I think you could agree that if you're in the same direction as a trend, it's just so much harder to be wrong, right? So this is Centurion, right? And you see that longer term trend is up, the short term trend, it was up, it was up, and then it was like sideways, looking at the green line, and then it became up again. Is it still up? Obviously, it is still up just by looking at the green line. All right, so what we could do, as I say, right, to get more confirmation, to be alerted on when to get in and get out, I could turn on these bullish and bearish signals from my one good trend indicator. All right, right over here, as I say, you can test drive it for free. The link is right above. Just scroll up in the chat messages and you can find the link to test drive my one GT light indicator, whereby you can turn on any stocks, any asset classes, bullish and bearish signals. So that turn it on, you can see, right? So we had a couple of like bullish signals here in April last year. There we go. Bearish signal down a little bit sideways. A bullish signal started to push all the way up. That was like in August, all the way to here. 51% in 4 months. All right, couple of bullish signals starts going up. But let me go ahead to zoom into what has happened over the past 1 month. So we got a new one GT bullish signal coming out. I would say on this day, all right, 6th of May. So more than a month back, right? 6th of May. And of course, after that, you can see that the green line actually was like flat a little bit, started to turn up, right? Even more, all right? And of course, it's still pointing up, right? So that is where I would say it still looks pretty good. Over the past one over week, we have actually attempted to break the $1.50 psychological resistance, right? You can see we break above it. We are still holding above the $1.50, which would be a new support level, also where the green 20 days moving average line is. And if I can quickly turn on the trailing support, right? Let's take a look, right? So we've got a bullish signal coming out. You can see we move up. We give it space to move up. The trailing support follows it as it moves up, flat, follow. And it is around the 140. So anything above 150 or maybe even above 140 to account for the space that it needs, right? Well, I think it still looks pretty okay, all right? It has gone from 120 all the way to 154. So it still looks pretty okay, all right? It looks pretty okay. If we can break maybe 160, 160 will be a temporary resistance level. I think there could still be more legs to this rally, all right? So this is the very first bonus stock I shared with you, Centurion. Check it out, all right? Put it in your watch list. We have covered it many times since last year. Fortunately, it still looks good, all right? And that's the reason why I'm covering it again, all right? So let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover his bonus stock for today, all right? Bervyn, all yours.
Thanks, Joey. All right. So let me just throw it out on the screen. I think I'm going a little bit of a different direction today. So today I'll be covering Hong Kong land as one of my bonus stocks. So I think a little bit of pickup on this stock has came into our watch list after the prices have pretty much been consolidating under this 480 level, and it finally gave way in the late of April. Prices have moved up a little bit with that one GT bullish signal coming in on right now with another about 23 to 25% up move. So far, the trend has been looking very good. Like Joey has said, the trend is your friend. All right, you don't trade against your friends, right? So you want to look at the longer term trend. The longer term trend for Hong Kong land has started to point up already. I mean, if you're asking me back in 2023, would I buy here? Would I consider this stock here with that longer term trend, pointing down? No, definitely we will tell you this is a do not buy situation. But I think comparing that to now the current trend, there are buyers that actually been coming in steadily for this counter over the past month or so, and a little bit of a selling also come in. All right, profit taking is very normal. A little bit of retracement is normal. These are short-term movements, right? Short-term movements, and that support around that 550 level is still looking pretty much intact right now, very close to that 20 days moving average. That resistance I would place, I mean, definitely about that $6 psychological resistance. And if that level gives way, we say that upside target can be drawn up to that 650 levels. But will prices be able to hold above this temporary 550 level? I think it's a little bit early to say, but so far so good. I want to watch to see if there's any consolidation close to this 550 level. So another level to actually watch out for, another alert I would say that you can set would be a 1GT signal alert. And how do you do that? You can just add an alert, right? Add an alert, change it, the conditions to your 1GT indicator, change it to a buy or sell alert. I prefer to be alerted when there is a buy or a sell signal once per bar and create. That is when you will be alerted, all right? You will be alerted when there is a new 1GT buy or sell signal that appears for Hong Kong land. So definitely, if we break above that $6 level, that could be another 1GT signal that shows up, and we want to be alerted for that as well. So that is why it is good to have that 1GT alert being set up beforehand to continue to come in to shift up that stop limit orders. But I think Hong Kong land, I think, is on track to recapturing its uptrend after that consolidation under that 480 level for about a year. I think we can continue to watch Hong Kong land. I think it is a good stock to place on your watch list. A little bit of moving away from the typical stock, is more in a property development and investment as well. So if you are looking for a stock like that, I think this is one of those stocks that can be added to your watch list. All right. So now I'll pass the time back to Joey, all right, to help us wrap up for today.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So these are pretty much the two bonus stock, right? For staying all the way to the end, for joining us. That's what you get, right? The first stock that I shared, Centurion, right? And Bervyn just shared this stock called Hong Kong Land. In fact, these two stocks has been in our watch list for the past few months. As I mentioned, we have also sent out a note to my VIP clients, right? In Philip Securities. So the link is in the chat. Just scroll up somewhere. I think they place it up there. Find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities. If you are not getting any ideas from your broker, nobody send you anything, no videos, no training, check it out. The link is right in the chat. So that's where you can get some of those ideas much faster than when we talk about it live in these sessions, right? You do get it much faster because when we do it live, that's where you can look at it at a different perspective because we are analyzing it live for you, all right? But our clients do get some of those ideas by WhatsApp daily for free. All right. Okay. So that's it, guys. I think we've pretty much come to the end of today's session. And thank you so much for joining us. Right. The next Friday, well, we will be covering back to the US market, right? Back to the US market. And today will be Singapore, right? So join us. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, guys, so that when we go live, that's where you will be alerted as well, right? Hit the like and share button. All right. And I think there should be a bell icon to set a notification or something like that. All right, so do that. All right, thank you so much, Alex, for joining us as well. Thanks, Dave. Right, thanks, Casey, Neil as well for just being here. We look forward to see you guys in the next Friday session as well. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye bye. Thanks, Vincent. Bye, Serena. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.